Mr. West. How are you
Hello.
today? So we are here today for Junior Achievement's Career Speaker Series, and I'm Erin Cheschi, Director of Programs and Community Partnerships with Junior Achievement of Rhode Island, and I am interviewing Ryan West with Mastery Martial Arts. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell us what you do for a living and why did you choose this?
Well, my name is Ryan West. I'm a Chief Instructor, partner and owner at Mastery Martial Arts. And we provide martial arts training with a focus on life skills and leadership development. We really feel that we can give kids an advantage in their future on skills that aren't developed anywhere else. So it's something that I've been doing since I was 14 years old, been teaching. And I saw the power and the benefit of what it had to offer. So when I had an opportunity to get involved and start to give back the things that I had learned from martial arts, confidence, discipline, leadership, that's what I got started. That's why I do what I do now, because I know the benefit it's had in my life. I just want to be able to pass that along and share that with others.
So you said that you started teaching at 14. So was that your first job?
Yes, it was. My first job ever was here at Mastery, and I'm still here. I've worked other jobs since. I don't know if that's something we're going to get into, but yeah, I started here, still here.
So what does your typical day look like, and what do you love about your job?
Typical day is when I wake up, I handle all promotional stuff. So a lot of Facebook, Instagram type of posts, shout outs. I check the appointments for the day and make sure that I'm ready and available to address any of the students and the help that they need. I look at like current membership every day and let people know, if someone's coming up on a membership, if someone wants to change their membership. So it's a more student service aspect of it. So I have a marketing piece that's done first. The second area is always just done on student maintenance, making sure that if someone hasn't been to class, making sure we contact them. If someone is up for an award, or if there's any concerns that need to be addressed. And then usually I'll go into my own personal development. So reading and researching, just maybe something that might be a better system or tactic for myself. And then once I have to get here for lessons, we come in first and I start to do things like this. Like we meet with you, talk to you. I'll work with students one-on-one. We actually have a very busy day today of private lessons. And then classes will begin. And then once the classes start, we teach 5 to 6 classes a day. And then at the end of the night, I get to clean and return my phone calls and then start planning for the next day.
So you have a very busy day to day.
It's so automatic now for me. I don't really think about it. It's part of the routine. It's part of the structure. I have the best gig in the world. Ideally, I only have to work 4 to 8. That's when our classes are. So it's 4 hours a day really that I have to be in house and kind of on the schedule. Everything else that we do, I do on my own. It's not required. All the extra lessons I give and the one-on-ones, that's just something I enjoy doing to provide a service above and beyond. It's really up to you. We're in a program here where I am rewarded for my performance. So if I'm willing to do more, I get more. And it's so automatic now that I don't even think about it.
Now, I know that you really enjoy working with and teaching the kids. And I know pre-COVID, you would go into the classrooms and give mini lessons. Do you miss that part of your role?
Say that again.
Do you miss that part of your role, going into the classrooms and meeting with students and giving lessons?
And that's why I was so excited to be doing this. I feel like this is my first foray back into the community to get back involved. But, near the end of the year, we did have a lot of teachers that were saying they wanted us to be a part of their classroom. And I still did presentations in school. We just did it via Zoom. So I was able to do classroom presentations. It was a little different not being there, but they were able to cast me to the classroom. I was able to see the kids, and I was able to take them through martial arts practice and a martial arts introduction, even though I wasn't able to physically go into the school.
That's great, because I know it's such an important piece of what you all do and what you teach in that communication piece, which are important skills to have as an instructor, I'm sure.
As a human being, you need them for success.
Yes, you do. Now, going back to the first job question, I know you said that your first job was with Mastery at 14, but outside of Mastery, what was your first job and how did you get hired?
I worked landscaping. My mom worked for a construction company, and I was able to get a summer job doing that. That's like 5 a.m, get started type of gig. So, they had me doing landscaping on some days. I had to detail their trucks. Like they had big rigs. So I had to climb up on them and polish them. I might have been 14 or 15 then. I worked in a daycare. I worked construction with my father. And then within Mastery, I've worn many hats. So I've been a bus driver, CDL license, camp counselor, all the like. So, but mainly it was construction and landscaping outside of. And I do have a 4-year college degree, and that's for accounting.
What was an important lesson you learned from your job in the landscaping business that you carry with you today?
I learned that if you don't like what you're doing for work, you need to upgrade your skills in another area. There are different opportunities based upon the knowledge and the skills that you hold. And if you don't like your current situation, complaining won't change it. Landscaping was great for a tan, and exercise, but I realized the limitations in my ability to help other people. And I knew that if I couldn't help more people, I couldn't get more in life. And I didn't want to be a landscaper, so I needed to upgrade my skills. I needed to research, and I needed to learn. I needed to practice. I needed to become a stronger human being if I wanted to get into another career area.
That is excellent advice. I think that is something so important that people miss out on.
Yeah, you can only help people based upon how much you've helped yourself first. What we teach here is if you're a stronger human being, you have the opportunity to help more people. If you help more people, you have a better life. You give enough people what they want, you get what you want. If you provide enough value for people, you'll receive in return trade. Usually it's money. But if you don't have anything worth giving of value, you can't get money. So if you're not developing yourself on a daily basis, mind, body, communication ability, emotional intelligence, emotional control, all these things are worth value to the right people that are out there. And I think more and more now, employers are not looking for what they're looking for who you can help, how you can communicate, how you can lead a group of people. Because just like I have an accounting degree, for me to sit in a cubicle and be an accountant will only allow me to help so many people. It's if I can get out there, meet people, if I can work with if I can communicate with a larger group and be a manager, and communicate with multiple types of people, because everyone's very different. Kind of like the students we teach, no one student's alike. So your ability to communicate has to be at a very high level. And I think the more people that you can connect, the more people that you can help, the more that you'll be compensated for it. And in the beginning, it's not financial compensation either. That's what everyone always wants. Like, well, I read this book. How come I'm not getting more? Just because you read the book doesn't mean you put it into use. And by the way, the reading of the book, you were paid for that. It was in your own return of being a stronger human being. Mm-hmm. But it's chipping away day to day to day to day to day. Its consistency is rewarded in life. So you can't just read one book and get upset and get a 50% increase on your hourly wage. Like, that's not how it works. It's daily. And if you're the type of person that consistently can be counted on, consistently is improving, other people notice this stuff and you become of high value.
That is some great information to let students know really listen to, is that consistency and that communication is so important. And you have talked about your undergraduate degree being in accounting. When you were younger, did you want to go into accounting? Is that why you studied accounting? Can you take us through that journey?
So as I got older, I was teaching martial arts, absolutely loved it. But Mastery now has multi-locations. I'm an owner in my unit. Like, that wasn't a thing. It was 2 schools, and it was an idea that we wanted to help more people and have more locations, but it wasn't a reality. So, and there was no real strict framework about how that was going to happen. So I heard from everyone around me, backup plan, backup plan, backup plan. And as I did my research, I said, well, I want to do law enforcement, but I don't want to just be a local precinct. I wanted to do something on a grander scale. And I was thinking like FBI would be great. So I'd be able to help people in that area. So as I did my research, they said accounting would be the way to go if you want to get it in on FBI. And I said, well, I like math. I like numbers. And if I don't become an FBI, accounting degree can help me in, even in martial arts, if I become a school owner, or it can help me in another field. So that's the avenue that I took. I went to school full-time and worked full-time here at Mastery. At 19 is when I became the chief instructor. So that means I was the number one person responsible for this unit. So that was go to a Mastery meeting during the day, before the Mastery meeting, go to a class, go to the Mastery meeting, go back to college, teach martial arts, in between classes, write a paper, and then go to a nighttime class when I was done teaching. So it was a fun experience. I don't have a lot of sympathy for people that say they have a lot on their plate because I went through that process and I was too stubborn and I refused to give up. I refused to look my students in the eye and said, I dropped out of college at this point, even though Mastery as a career was taking care of me on a financial level, lifestyle level. But if I say I'm going to do it, I got to do it. So I worked to get through that. And so a lot of reasons why I went into that field. But ultimately, I always wanted to be a martial arts instructor. It's what I wanted to do. But it wasn't a reality that it was going to happen soon. I didn't think it was going to happen at 19 as I was walking into my classroom. My now business partner, then instructor and boss, called me and he's like, congratulations, you're now in charge of that school. And I said, I'm a full-time student. And his answer was, you'll figure it out. And he was right. I figured it out.
You had faith in your skills.
Yes. And, I know you're probably asking me about the process to become part of this organization, but the people that we look to employ, I always tell them, I said, you can't be a just do what you told person. There's only limited value in that. You have to be a figure it out person. There's a problem. I will help you select the right solution. But if you just come to me and tell me the problem, you're not practicing any skill for your own future well-being. And that's another thing. Some people think, well, you're the boss. Tell me what to do. Okay, but I still care about you as a better human being, so you should probably practice decision-making. And the only reason I do that is because it was done to me. I would call, and it only happened a half dozen times, but I would call my boss, and I would be overwhelmed with school and work and things I had to get done. And he would just say, what's the most important thing you need to take care of right now? Come up with 3 solutions for that one thing, and then call me back. I never had to call him back because once I started with that process, he allowed me to focus on one thing, come up with a solution. I was able to make sequential order of my problems. And instead of worried about the problems and stressing out, I got to work on solutions. So that was a skill that I wish I learned even younger. But 19 wasn't a bad time to start either.
So your journey is really interesting. It's unique to most young adults' journeys into their career field and education. And I remember sitting in a class one time and you sharing about when you went to school, you were learning the psychology of young children. And so when I heard that message, I just assumed that you had gone to undergrad for education because you connect so well with the younger generations that it is very impressive with how well you connect with them. So being a business major, were you able to take any classes learning about young minds and psychology, or was it more hands-on learning being a Mastery martial arts instructor at such a young age that helped you?
Well, definitely hands-on experience and trial and error, but also I've done more research. I must have a master's degree in childhood development on my own, not through a brick and mortar educational facility. So I always believe that there's a better way. I always believe that we can make it better. So even when teaching, all right, what structures can I put in place? Because the other aspect of it is I can't be the only one that can do it. How can I put together a process of delivery for our students that helps hit all learning modalities for our kids, because every kid's different, learns differently. Every kid's motivated differently. And I can't be the only one that knows the information. So what process and systems and structures can we put into place so that whether it's me or somebody else here can still try to have impact on the people that they're helping, and quick impact. So it's a lot of reading. It's a lot of meetings with other people that are much smarter than me. It's, I don't have a lot of original thoughts, but I'm able to take bits and pieces from everything that I've learned and put them together in a way that helps us have a better result with our students. So yeah, I don't think I ever took a childhood education course, but I've sat in seminars, I've gone to programs, I've gone away for weekends to do that learning and that training. And none of it is martial arts. It was just ways for me to try to enhance myself, because I knew if I had it, it might help my students in some area.
So you understand the importance of continued education and learning as you go. Even though you have this great career, you recognize that you still need to continually learn and evolve.
It can always be better. My instructor told me very young, you need to be green and growing, and I never knew what he meant. And you might have heard me say this before in class too, but green and growing means always learning, always improving. Because when you look at a banana's green, it's growing. Once it's yellow, it's ripe. After that, it's got one stage left, it's to rot. And people that say, well, no, that's not part of my job description, or that's not what I was told to do, or this is the only way to do it, that's a ripe mindset. There's only one thing that happens after that. And if 2020, I mean, the way that we're doing this presentation today was just proof of how quickly we need to learn and change and adapt, because you don't know what's going to happen. So having a mind it's not even the learning, it's just keeping my mind fresh to learn, because you don't know what's going to happen. You need to be able to quickly research, learn, adapt, and move forward. So I got to keep going. Even when I drive in the car, it's podcasts and audiobooks and anything that we can do to give myself an advantage, so then I can share that with the people that I'm in direct relationship with.
That is awesome. So one last question. Well, two more questions. What kind of education and training outside of college have you received, or certifications have you required to continue to be a martial arts instructor?
We do in-house training. So we have legacy training. I usually run those trainings now, but every time you teach it, you're doing it twice anyway. So you're also practicing these skills. We actually have a sales seminar coming up in a few weeks. Our instructor is bringing in a sales professional, so we have a 4-hour seminar with them to sit down and learn skills. I'm CPR certified, first aid certified. I have a CDL license to drive a Class C CDL, so a bus. But these are things that I went and got in order. The first aid and CPR is required as part of what we do. Continued education is part of what we do. We have structures in place too. Like if you're an assistant, your pay grade is based upon how many hours of training and criteria you have met and achieved, as well as time and grade and how much experience you have. So in my line of work, I'm not required to have any additional training, but if I want to continue to grow, I need to do it. It's not an option.
And I know we've already touched a lot on different advice to give to young students. What other advice would you give to young students, and what advice would you give to your younger self?
Save and invest. That's the first one. That the things that you need to save and invest, because if you make right now decisions, you never set up your future. And every time that I have to talk to a student about a decision that they've made that is not in line with being a black belt, was 100% because they made the decision based upon what they wanted right now and had no ability to think even till tomorrow or a week from now or a year from now. I started heavily saving and investing in my 30s, and have been able to do very well. If I started at 18, I could have been able to retire already. If I know it the way that I do it now, if I did it then, plus return on investment. You have to set yourself up for your life to be taken care of. No one's going to do it for you. It's not anyone else's responsibility. So you need to make decisions based upon your future, the future that you want to have, and the future that you potentially want to share with somebody too. Because it's not just for you. It's going to be for your family and your legacy left on. So I guess the biggest advice I would give would definitely be save and invest, which is in line with, can you please think about tomorrow a little bit more than today, or think about next week, or think about a month from now. Because that's really hard to do. Where I don't want to get into it, but we have new brain and old brain. Old brain says live, survive. That's how we were evolved. We were just thinking, don't get eaten by a saber-toothed tiger, and make sure you have something to eat for yourself. So our brain is hardwired to react based upon what we do today, but we don't live in that time anymore. So if you don't practice future pacing yourself and seeing how your actions today affect who you become in the future, that's why I'm so passionate about teaching, because I see that what the kids are doing today and who they're going to become when they're 18, based upon what they do at 7. And that's clear. And if you can modify those things, but I see 18-year-olds who had problems start at 7. No one did anything. No one helped them. Nobody tried to be an influence for them to make those adjustments. So yeah, biggest advice, save and invest. And second in line with that is just make decisions based upon your future, not based upon today.
That is some great advice to leave with the young students. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. West. I greatly appreciate all of your time, and it was a joy interviewing you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too.